Welcome to the Digital Amateur Television Experimenters Night. This is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania. Amateur radio is a worldwide hobby that has many different aspects. Digital television is just one of the many modes and areas that are covered. Maybe you're interested in becoming involved in the DATV Experimenters Nights. Do you realise that you do not have to be a radio amateur or need any ATV equipment to participate anywhere in the world? Also participate in the night by coming up to the Queen's Domain clubrooms. Yes, right on top of the Queen's Domain in the heritage-listed Coast Wireless Station. You never know, we might get you in front of the camera or behind doing one of the many roles during the night. We get underway with our program on a Wednesday night from 7:30pm local time. We'll see you soon. This is VK7OTC.
This is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our ATV Experimenters Night. And I've got two of our regular contributors, as in Richard VK7ZBX, who we've got Richard is in the orange. Just say hello, Richard.
The high vis.
In the high vis. And also Murray in the middle here, who actually appears in both pictures. Greetings, guys.
Greetings.
Thank you.
Now, the reason I've got these two guys in the studio is last weekend was the Remembrance Day Contest, which is the preeminent contest for VK. And I think VK7 had a good show.
It would appear so.
I think we did.
It would appear so.
Judging by the logs uploaded to the website so far.
Correct. So what I thought I'd do is I was going to ask Richard and Murray for their recollections to start off with, and then we'll do a bit of analysis. So who would like to go first?
Recollections. Well, I think it sort of actually felt like more people were on air this year than previous years.
Okay.
I don't actually have last year's stats with me to see if there was less or more locals, but there seemed like there was a lot of people on, and whether HF was just propagating better or there was more people on.
Certainly, HF was pretty rubbishy last year.
Yeah, struggled with HF last year, and this year there seemed to be quite a few stations about. So yeah,
Okay.
it was, I would say overall better conditions.
Now, what about preparation? How was the preparation this year?
Most uncharacteristic of us.
Well, I would actually have to say, I think I can speak for both of us, better than usual.
Yes.
Which involved taking both Friday and Saturday off.
Okay.
I think there was, for the first time ever, no antenna mishaps on the day.
Wow. Okay.
So nothing broken, nothing didn't work when it shouldn't have. Yeah.
Apart from the 6 metre.
Well, that didn't turn out to. But I mean, it was there. It was set up and working and tested beforehand. It just didn't end up being used.
Yeah.
That was accident.
Okay. And what about you, Richard? How was your preparation?
Mine was much the same. I was hoping to have another HF antenna, but yeah, I sort of spent a bit of time having another laptop to put the software on. And yeah, ran a couple of extra feed lines and did some bits and pieces, and yeah, I was a bit astonished that I was sort of ready to go on the Friday.
There you go.
No one was more surprised than me.
And you both took Friday off, I assume?
Oh,
We
yes.
did, yeah. We
Yeah.
were doing a bit of shenanigans with the 10 gig
Okay,
system to put it in a box, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it
fantastic.
made it a whole lot easier for Murray to use.
Now, Murray, you just take us through the reason for the box. So,
Do you have a picture of there that you can put up on the?
I don't have a picture. Oh, have you got a picture?
I sent it to, I emailed it to you.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Okay. Just stand by. Just,
So, last year I borrowed one of Richard's 3 centimetre rigs.
But you borrowed mine because I borrowed Rex's.
Yeah, last year I borrowed
Yeah,
it as well. And I had it set up on a tripod outside, and a table and a power supply and all the rest of it, which was quite laborious to every 3 hours drag it outside and set it up and make the contacts, and then pack it all up again every 3 hours. And it's
In the dark.
in the dark, and it's not. The reason for that is it's not at all waterproof or windproof from blowing over, and just can't be left unattended. So this year there was quite a bit of rain forecast, which ended up being correct. There was lots of rain, and there you can see.
we'll just move to
There
it.
you can see me testing it, and there's the 818 sitting on the toolbox in the back of the ute, and the 10 gig dish and transceiver sitting inside a wooden packing crate.
Funnily enough, that used to actually hold a microwave.
Yes, that's what we.
So
and
purpose built.
If you've got one of those other pictures I sent through, you'll see. Yep, there we go. You can see actually down into the box, and there it is sitting
I
up.
tell you what, that's just perfect.
It was.
It was. I didn't actually think it was going to fit. I took the box around to Tricky's place, and I got there and I said, I don't think it's going to fit. And he went, oh, let's have a look. I was like, oh, yes, it does. It's got
We actually thought we might have had to put it diagonal, didn't we?
yeah. And there it is. There it is, set up on the back of the ute, facing the mountain, with the feed lines trailing off towards the shack.
Can I just say the 2 metre feed line trailing off to the shack? So that's excellent.
Yeah. And push the torque.
Yes.
And power.
Yes,
And
push
power.
to torque.
Yeah.
Yeah, so inside that box was the 240 volt to the 12 volt power supply.
Right.
And the cables are the IF, the push to torque, and the mains power.
I love it.
And as it happens, we got a lot of rain over the weekend.
Yes.
And
Stuff a little
while
bit of
I
attenuation.
didn't have the ability to measure as such the attenuation, Wetbox certainly had a lower signal level on the receive than the dry box. So
We had enough. We had enough
we had
headroom to make it work.
we did.
Excellent. So, well, that's excellent. So, just some recollections during the. So, actually operating during the contest. What's your sort of general recollections before we get into the nitty gritty and the analysis?
I think there was lots more activity on VHF, UHF than last year.
Okay.
Because it didn't seem to be. I noticed this year that it was quite congested,
Okay.
and a few times that I hadn't heard for a long time. It was people were sort of popping in and going, up 25 on VHF and even UHF.
Yep.
Which I'd not heard sort of previous.
Yeah. Okay.
6 metres was very busy. There's lots of things happening on 6 metres.
And 23.
And 23, yes. We didn't have 23 on 23, but we had a few.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't have a unique.
Unique.
So-
I don't know.
So uniques on. Actually, we'll go into it because you've got it up here. So uniques all up for Murray was
194 call signs.
okay. And what was yours, Richard?
119.
119. And hang on, 88. So mine was 88 all up, of which 76 of those we're talking about HF and 32 of them on VHF.
So I got 33 on UHF on VHF UHF.
Yep.
Um,
So if you click on the little button, what did you get?
32 on VHF.
32. So it'd be the same 32, I'd say.
Well, we did. You only beat me by one. So.
Well and truly. So, and that was a HF contact. What about HF, Richard?
102.
100. Well, only 76.
Yeah,
But-
she must have got some 160 metre ones.
It's all 160 metres. So, and I'll go into that in a sec. But okay, so so now we all operated 24 hours.
Yep.
Yep.
I might have had a couple of little sleeps.
Oh no, can't take it anyway.
I'm going
You
to
don't
say,
say we've got more.
I'm going to say less than 2 hours cumulative from the two lay downs. So
Correct.
but just enough to get me through to the end of the day.
However, from a score point of view, we'll go through and start at the top, which is one Mr. Murray, VK7ZBX, got how many QSOs and how many points?
748 contacts.
Yep.
1165 points.
Fantastic.
And that is because there was a lot of 23 centimetre and 3 centimetre contacts.
Yep.
A lot of 23 centimetre contacts. And really made an effort to get as many of the high point 23s during the
One
night.
here at the start, the kick-off on 40 metres, I think it was.
Oh, that's not 40 metres there. That's 40 metres there.
Yeah, well and truly.
Yeah.
So that was the.
So I sort of, at the beginning, it sort of started to get bogged down on the VHF bands, and I sort of
Yep.
just did a bit of the whole 80-20 rule in my head and just went, I'm starting to spend an awful lot of effort for these last few contacts, so I just ditched them and went straight to HF.
An awful lot of time waiting.
Yeah,
Hurry up and wait, as they say in the military.
yeah, very much so. And so I just peeled off onto
You
HF.
said that little mental thing
On
where
the
you go,
HF.
oh, those courses, if I could just get those 2 or
Yeah,
3
yeah,
guys
no.
and I can like go away and come back. The other half of your brain's going, no, like Murray, you just go.
I love it. Now, from score, Richard?
I got 625 QSOs for 1,064 points.
Okay, cool. And I was at 607 QSOs and 1,065 points. Now,
That's close.
one point more, and that 1 point actually came from a correction that I did because I put my own call sign into the log. And VKCL very nicely highlights that line when you create the log so that you can
So,
go,
what are you doing, darling?
okay. So when I recalculated on that, it gave me another point, which was that 1 point, and of course another contact. So that's a really nice feature in VKCL. Really nice feature. Now the other one in VKCL is we're Richard and Murray are being very high tech and looking on screen here. I've gone low tech here. So,
Only because I forgot to print mine.
but what they are actually looking at is, and let's zoom out here. VKCL really nicely gives you the ability to do some stats. Now, it says contacts are red and scaled points are green. So this is the very first line is the contacts, and then this is the points that are associated with them. But the key thing here, and this scale on the side, and I'm not sure whether I can I sharpen that up? I can't sharpen that up anymore. This scale is 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. And then this other scale, which is your score, is 500, 1,000, 1,500. So in that first hour is over 50 contacts. And most of that is VHF. And what Richard and Murray were just saying just then, VHF and 23 centimetres, etc., was absolutely going off in that first hour.
Yeah.
It was just that's the sort of contact rate that we get in the last hour.
In fact, the last hour was reasonably sedate.
Correct.
Oh, no.
Correct. Although Murray's
This
up.
This is all that
Yeah.
I'm looking at here.
Yeah. And Murray's
You
in
can
the.
see the two little sleep side door.
Yeah. That's a fairly. Yeah. There's some big gaps in there. And then the line. This is the cumulative line of points over the contact. Now this is all contacts. I then broke it down, and this is the 23 centimetre one. Now it very clearly shows that I made some pretty reasonable points in that 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. time period, and so that and also I then did it for 160 metres, which of course 160 metres and 23 centimetres and above were all triple points from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Oh, actually 6 points.
They were triple points, so they were actually six points because they're normally 2 points.
Yeah.
So
Everything's triple points.
So the 160 metre contacts, you can see, wasn't making a terrible lot of them, but they were all worth 6 points. So in fact, there were a couple there. That's 1 hour, and then the next hour were both 25 and above 25. So well, off the show, and that's your points.
Yeah.
That's
No, red's the points. He's only got HF selected, and so the points is a ratio.
no, red's the contact. Green's the points.
Yeah, green's the points. So green's up against.
Yeah, and it's not that scale actually. That scale's to do with the cumulative line. That's a bit of a problem with that chart. But anyway, so but it's spot on. And so from both your point of view, you got the points in that 1 to 6 a.m.
Yep.
So that's why we've got scores that are almost double the or the points are almost double the contacts.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes from.
And of course, a lot of them were 6, as you say, 6 pointers from 23
well and
centimetres and 10 gigs.
Yep.
And 2.4 gigs and. Yeah.
Well and truly. So excellent. Now, so not that we're out to sort of win the trophy again for the 5th time or anything, but what we might do, I don't think we're gonna. Oh, we might get the effect here. So what's on the screen now? Warren VK7 Whiskey November very, very kindly has put onto a spreadsheet and split up via for each state the logs that are currently put in as of 6 o'clock tonight, and so we're vying for position for VK6, who I must admit I did hear a few comments during the night to say something along the lines of, there's so many friggin' VK7s on,
Yeah.
I don't know whether there's anybody else on.
You'd work and they'd say, oh wow, another VK7.
Another VK7. so that was fantastic. But so if we compare, this is the logs, so we're vying for position with VK6, and in fact Murray hasn't put his in and Rex hasn't put his in, and so we're at least Murray and Rex putting that in, we're equal with what's being put in with VK6. But then Steve VK7OO very, very kindly did a bit of a comparison here on a state versus state basis as of 2 o'clock. This was the number of logs that were put in for each of the states. And then the participation rate is the number of licenses in that state divided by the number of logs put in. And then he did a bit of a calculation to say, what do we need for VK7 to actually get a participation rate, and then obviously a score that is over and above any of the other states. And so if we have a bit of a look at VK6, we need, you're spot on. We don't need anything, but they need 2.2 times our number of logs to get the same participation rate that we would be getting. So I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I think we've got this one.
I think we might have it for the
You need to
5th.
read the comments on VK log checker if we have to put it on there again.
Yeah, well, they did start the report last year with, yeah, okay, they won it again. That was the report. So Alan, thank you, Alan, for those wonderful comments. So thank you to Steve for putting that together. Now, what I might do is we'll just head to. This is Murray had his in a box. I had mine under a hoochie. Unfortunately, I didn't have the sunroom available to me due to a bit of a diplomatic clash at home. So I set up.
Diplomatic clash.
That's it. That's a very good point.
Didn't achieve prior planning approval.
Didn't achieve prior planning approval from the Minister for Home Affairs. So I thought, okay, think outside the square here. This was Saturday morning. So I actually set up on the concrete area at the back that I've got, and I thought the forecast is not looking good because it certainly wasn't this sunny when later in the day. And so, hang on. Oh, there we go. So I set up my SOTA hoochie, put a rope across there, set it all up, and boy am I glad I did that because during the night it was pissing down.
It rained a lot.
So had a few messages on the other band. Quick, go out and work Justin because he's out in the rain.
So I wasn't actually out in the rain. I was under the hoochie, and it was quite good. But I have to admit, I did end up putting a towel over all the equipment. I didn't take a photo of that, but that's the table with all the equipment over it. I did actually have a towel over that because there was water actually on the inside of the hoochie. So anyway, that was the 10 gig operating position from my perspective. So yeah. But I am very glad that I did that because we actually the 10 gig contacts were certainly contributed to the score quite considerably. So thank you to Murray and Richard and also Rex, which was our little 10 gig QSO party.
Who got up in the middle of the night?
And Rex got up every 3 hours and very dutifully made contact. So thank you very much to Rex. That's very much indeed. So yeah. Any last thoughts, guys?
Better equipment, I think we need to.
Yeah. What's the plan for next year? Like, yeah.
I think possibly better coordination might see a few extra points.
Okay. Or maybe a range of VHF frequencies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And advertise them ahead of time.
Okay.
Previously had sort of
really
suggested layers and frequencies are suggested ahead of time. I don't think we really published them
So
this
we
year.
really didn't do the band dance this time either. It's sort of
I
broke.
did it a few times. I did it sort of a couple of times with Hayden and a few others. But it was just two doing it. That was and we sort of whizzed through and that was it. There was no sort of coordination there. But anyway, that's okay. Cool. Any other suggestions? Any other thoughts? How are we going to celebrate?
Well, I think it was the celebration. It's on V-Day. That's the point of it, Justin.
No, but how are we going to celebrate actually winning it for the 5th time?
Well, let's not
Number 5.
because I think there's a fair bit of passion in some of the other states. They're pretty keen.
That's called tempting fate.
Yeah. Remember, don't put the ladder on the truck until the service is commissioned.
I think.
Very good.
Trust me.
I think some other states could be sufficiently jealous of us just sitting here in their studio this evening.
I just have this feeling that there will be a rule change in the next 12 months.
Yeah, I reckon there might be actually.
Yeah, no more VK7s or whatever.
Yeah. VK7 can only win it, win it a certain number of times, or no band dancing.
And I'll write some cleverness into the software.
Mm.
It'd be really nice. We could suggest one nice feature for VKCL, couldn't we?
Oh yes, okay.
Wouldn't it be really nice to be able to have, because it's got a really cool feature where it'll show you the time you've got left to work the next station.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is really cool. However, the downside to that is that once, like if they're not there for every 3 hour period, they drop off that list.
Correct.
You forget.
Yeah.
So it'd be really nice. Please, to have like a list on the side of currently outstanding stations that are available to be
That
worked.
you've worked before.
But you know, you could maybe select
Yep.
between. Probably HF's not that big a thing because obviously there's lots more people to work on HF.
Okay.
But it's still, once you're going through and working a lot, so it'd be nice, you know, to scan up and down the band and hear a call sign and go, no, oh, I'm working. You know, and I think
Bingo. Yeah.
and I think that was where a few of us were sort of tuning up and down the band listening for people. And then someone would call on VHF. You go, oh, can we work? You type the call sign in. Oh, we can.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of that. Where
Bit of hit and miss.
if you had that list that you could look at,
Yep.
as soon as you sort of like you look over that list a few times and you'd hear a call sign, you'd be able to go, oh, he was on all this thing on.
Yeah.
So, but that's
No.
but like it's pretty
And-
damn flash. The software.
And I did work Mike 3 times. So VK3AVV, who's the author of the VKCL, that, and I did actually go out of my way to thank him for the software. So.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
So I think it's pretty good that he actually operates in, and I assume he uses his own software, but operates in the
I have
contest.
him
So
log on both 80 and 40.
Yeah,
There you
I've
go.
got him an 80 and 40 as well.
there you go.
So, yeah.
I think I worked him again on 40. There were 3 contacts with him that I remember. So, but anyway, and when 40 opened up again in the during the day, that was a bit of a saviour because I then disappeared to 40 for a little while and did all that. So
Yeah.
you're just listening on the bands and just seeing what opens up and who's there. So no, good stuff. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
That is excellent, and we look forward to a positive outcome.
I think so.
I'm sure it will be forthcoming.
Cool. So now, before you go, because you're on this particular list.
I normally like to be on the list.
Yeah, you're on the bad list. So let's go to here. Oh, let's zoom out a bit here. Now, one of the things that came out a few weeks ago was the Trans-Tasman 2020 results, and these now. Just so you can see it, I'll zoom in now so we can actually read. Now, VK7 I think did pretty well in the results, especially Catherine VK7GH, who actually came third in the high power section with 3,276 points. Now, the Trans-Tasman is the low band, so it's 160, 80, and 40, and it's only how long is it?
6 hours.
6 hours. 6 hours. So and there are it's split into three 2-hour blocks. So and the blocks it's really nice. You can actually get to the end of a 2-hour block and then work somebody, and then as soon as it changes over, you work them again. So that's a really nice feature. Now, down in the single operator low power section, there's a few recognisable call signs in there. There's VK7BO there as at 9th, so that's up north. VK7ZMS there at 15. 16 is VK7JGD. 19th is myself, and then 20 is Mr. Richard. So I think we did okay, a good show.
Flew the flag.
Well and truly, and especially Catherine, who was doing really well. And she also did very well in the RD because I was hearing
she was
Catherine everywhere, well and truly. So anyway, that's the Trans-Tasman. So I thought I'd just quickly run through them, given that we hadn't actually run through them in a previous program. So yeah. So what we might do is we'll let you go, guys, and the reset, and we're just going to do a little bit on the NanoVNA-H. So
Is that different to the NanoVNA-H?
it is. It goes to 1.5 megs. Gigs. Sorry, 1.5 gigs. So yeah. So let's just change to here. All right. So just identification. This is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our ATV Experimenters Night. And just a reminder, you can call in on 2 metres on R2, on DMR Talk Group 3807, and also on the YouTube chat channel. Haven't seen anything on the YouTube chat channel, although we've got 3 people watching. So please make yourself do yourself a favour. Oh, that was bad, wasn't it? Actually, what I might do, guys, is someone can actually sit in the studio if they want to now, because we've got an extra that's all right. I'm on that camera over there, so that's fine. We're in fact, what we might do is move that back around. And if we change to it, that'd be good. So, and the problem, Anthony, with sitting there is you've got no screen to look at. It's behind you.
I need eyes in the back of my head.
Slight problem with the studio arrangement. We really need a little monitor here that you're looking at. Just before we get into the NanoVNA, I was just going to give you a funny / sad USB key story. And what I'm going to do is just go across to the okay, everyone realises that's a stock standard USB key. Looks, and I have had this on my key ring forever. The other day I went to use it and plugged it in, and I thought, that doesn't feel quite right. When I opened it up, there's absolutely nothing inside. And when I realised, yes, it was still on my key ring. It was actually still on my key ring. However, it had come apart at some point, and all the electronics had dropped out. Because the electronics, the actual USB contacts that you get plugged into the USB port on a computer are actually part of the PCB, and the PCB is actually not connected to the little thing that your keyring goes through. And so the electronics and my files and whatever was on there, because I don't remember what was on there, have all gone, and the USB housing still looked perfectly alright. So there's a USB key somewhere.
Encrypted, of course.
No. But there's a whole lot of crap on there, and it's my stuff, it's not work stuff, so I'm not really that worried about it. But I just sort of went, you do have to be a little bit aware that it may not be what you think it is. So yeah.
It's become a micro USB card holder now.
Hey, if I've got another USB key that I can put in there, I've got a housing that fits it probably perfectly all right. But anyway, I just thought I'd relay that to the audience. Anyway, no. What we were going to do tonight is I mentioned at the Antenna and Analyzer Forum that I had a NanoVNA-H /H as opposed to just the normal NanoVNA, which I brought along to the Antenna Forum. Now the difference with the H is it goes to 1.5 gigs, so it's got a slightly different circuit and a slightly different firmware in it. It comes in a very, and they have certainly updated the packaging because when I got the last one, which I'll show you, it came in a little box. This is just to revise. It's basically the case. Hang on. The case is 2 bits of PCB that sandwich the actual PCB that's got the circuit on it in the middle of it. So there is the ability for dust and all sorts of crap to get in there. In the new one, number one, the thing you notice is it actually has an instruction manual of sorts, which is in English and also in Chinese on the other side, which is what you'd expect. So it's basically just the menu structure, but that's better than absolutely nothing. And it does have a QR code on it that you can go to the website to get the manual. So I thought, okay, that's good. How it comes is we now have it in a little moulded plastic case, so it is protected somewhat. It does come with the calibration, the 50 ohm load and the short and the open. It is a USB-C connector on here, so there are USB to USB-C connectors, as well as the USB-A to USB-C, and the wonderful little thing is it comes with a guitar plectrum. But the guitar plectrum is actually what you use to touch the screen with. So, and it does come with a little cord that you can put on the side so that it attaches to the NanoVNA, so you don't lose it. So they have done a little bit of packaging. They have done a little bit of I suppose a few thoughts about the feedback they've been getting about fat fingers and all sorts of stuff. I'll switch it on and we'll zoom in here, because what I've got to show you is, I'll take those off. What I've got to show you is I've got a little RTL SDR band stop filter for the FM band. So this takes out 88 to 188 megahertz, and I thought, well, this will be a good test. So let's plug it in. Now I won't bother about the calibration at this stage. And the other thing about this, the new one, is it does remember how you've set it up when you switch it off, which the original NanoVNA didn't, which was a real pain in the bum, because if you switched it off and switched it back on again, you had to go through all the settings again. So you can see this is you can see the frequency here, which is I'll just drop that, but anyway, I'll get that made on later. The frequency, the start frequency, which is down here in this corner, is 50 megs. The stop frequency up here is 200 megs. And if we move the little pointer using the little toggle, that's at 108.5 megs. So that's pretty good. And if we head over to the other, that's at 87.5 megs, so or 89 megs. So that's not a bad bandstop filter. So pretty reasonable. So I'm very impressed with that. So that was my first test. Now I had a now this is a reasonably high power 630 meter low pass filter that cuts off at just below the it's supposed to cut off just below the broadcast band, so that I don't get broadcast band interference on 630 meters. And I thought, well, now I've got something that I can actually test this with. So Richard's doing something on the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Okay, that's right. I'll reconnect. Hang on. I'll reconnect. Cool. So I thought, I've got something that can actually measure this. So why don't we plug it in and we'll have a look. So just bear with me while I screw it all together. I've got some little SMAs to BNC adapters from the adapter box. So now what I've also got to do here, and I'll show me doing this. So there is certainly, you can see here, now we're still on 50 to 200, so you can see it heads up and then it drops off quite dramatically. Now it's that drop that we really want to, and this is where I need my my plectrum, which I dropped. Oh, that's nice. Where did it go? Where did it go?
You got a pen, Justin?
No, that's all right. I've got a pen. Actually, it's better with my stimulus. Okay, so let's leave the start at where it is. Let's bring the stop back in again to something like about, I don't know, 5 megs. Let it draw its, hang on, what have I done? I've made the start. Let's make that 1 meg. No, actually, let's go start. Let's go, I don't know, 200 kilohertz. There we go. Okay. So what we're looking at is the mauve line. So at about, we'll head the pointer, so we're using the toggle here, head the pointer up, up, to right on that elbow there, and we're at 600 kilohertz. So that's not bad. That's still not into that's right on the edge of the broadcast band. And we start to drop off at that point, and we keep going. We drop off relatively slowly, and you'll notice we're still okay. There's about 1.8 megs, so we're now in the 160 meter band. So this is all broadcast here. So we're dropping down a reasonable amount, not that quickly though. And that elbow's at about 600, so it's not bad, but it could be a bit better. We could actually drop this elbow back to like 500 and start that drop earlier and get slightly better results. But you can see it drops off. As I'm doing this, you're also seeing this is a Smith chart behind here. And you'll notice that there is a little green arrow moving around the Smith chart to tell us what's happening to the reactance and the impedance. You can see the greens moving. Oh, rapid change there, and you can see the reactance here as well that we're moving down. And this is all configurable as to what you want these 4 channels to actually. There's only 3 on here, but there's 4 channels that you can actually configure to show what you want it to actually show. So I thought, okay, that's not bad. It does sort of do a little bit, but probably could do a little bit better. So anyway, that's and I used the NanoVNA-H to tune the 23 centimeter Yagi. So to make sure that the dipole, the director, was actually in the right place to keep the SWR and return loss, the SWR down and the return loss reasonably up where I needed it. Now, the other thing I just thought, I have shown this before. This is a wonderful little RF demo kit that is produced by a group that's also produces the NanoVNA-Hs. It gives you the ability to demonstrate a whole lot of things, a whole lot of networks here. 33 ohm terminator, which is supposedly an SWR of about 1.5. And you can see they draw the little Smith chart in here, which is what you would expect the Smith chart to look like. 75 ohm terminator, and then some bandpass filters on both of these, ceramic band filters of both band stop and band enhance filters. We've got a CR network, a CL network, a capacitor, an inductor, a short, an open, and a load, so you can do your little calibration steps. We've got, just let me move the cables. We've got a low pass filter and a high pass filter at 400 megs and 500 megs. And then we've got an attenuator at -10 and an attenuator at -3. So you can move these around. Now I have to say, I understand why they've used these connectors, but oh my god, I'm not sure how long these connectors are actually going to last. But it just gives you the ability to demonstrate some of the RF principles that you would potentially be looking at with your NanoVNA. So anyway, that's and what we can do. We'll plug in. We're on the band stop filter. So if we plug it in and we say 66 megs, that's at 6.5 megs. So let's just change it to, I don't know, 5 megs and stop at 7 megs. Okay, and guess what? We have a drop at, let's go to the bottom of that, and it's at 6.440 megs. So it's a 6.5 meg band stop filter. So pretty good. And guess what? Oh no, this is one of the ones that doesn't show the Smith chart. But the Smith chart would look like the spiral that you see on the screen. So there you go. So it's also a good little test for the NanoVNA to make sure that it is actually doing what you think it's doing. So anyway, that's the NanoVNA-H. It goes all the way up to 1.5 gigs, which is the reason why I bought it, because I now can use it on my 23 centimeter antennas, which is, I couldn't use the other one because it only went to 900 megs. Now the way it gets to 1.5 megs, this is the downside. The way it gets to 1.5 gigs is it's a fifth harmonic of the oscillator that it uses in there. Now the fifth harmonic means that your dynamic range drops. So okay, that's the trade-off. However, if what you're doing is the sort of things I do, where I'm trying to tune an antenna or try and find out where the sweet spot is, then I actually don't care too much about the dynamic range. I'm only wanting to know where the SWR is the least, the smallest I can make it, etc., etc. So from the application that I've got it for. Now there are some other bits and pieces in here. I'll just point out that are not available in the earlier firmware versions. You'll notice that there is, if we go into the main menu, which is the display menu here, there is a transform menu item which takes you across to these menus, which is the transform on or off, low pass impulse, so for low pass filters, low pass steps, so you can actually step through on a low pass and get a finer granularity, band pass filters, the window, so what you actually want to see, and velocity factor you can put in, because on here you can also do make it a time domain reflectometer. So if you have a piece of coax that you are a bit suspicious of, and you know the velocity factor, you can look up the velocity factor of the coax. Then what you can do is basically connect this up to the end, put a short or leave it open, it doesn't really matter, on the other end, but you can then see the whole length of the coax, because the signal you send down goes to the end, gets reflected back, and they do a calculation based on the velocity factor to work out where there may be a problem in that piece of coax. So if you've got a really dodgy joint or something along those lines, it's a good way of just testing whether that bit of coax looks reasonable or not. So there are certainly some differences with the H. They put in lots more functionality, and the other thing I was going to just point out is you do have the ability with the H to plug in a Android tablet or phone of a reasonable power, and you can get, there's an Android application called NanoVNA web app that enables you to then communicate and display what's coming out on the NanoVNA on a bigger screen. So and you connect that up via the USB-C port. So there are some definite advantages to the H. Now the H, I got it for I think about $125 Australian. Landed here, so it was a bit more expensive than my original one, which I think was about $80. However, I think the extra $40 is well and truly worth it, and it goes to 1.5 gigs. So anyway, that was the little outline on the NanoVNA-H. What I might do is I'm doing some playing with the Android tablet right at the moment, but I have to say it's a bit flaky. And so I'll do a little bit more experimenting with that, and I might do another session later with showing you what it looks like with the tablet plugged in and the functionality that's available through the web app, because it's not a full function web app. You can't do quite everything on the actual tablet. So I'll see how I go with that. But anyway, so that's our show for tonight. Just a reminder quickly, the Alara contest is in 2 weekends' time, so it's not this weekend, it's the next weekend. And also, on that same weekend, on the night of the 28th, so that's the Friday night, and also the Saturday, we will actually be up here with the DATV QSO party. So the DATV QSO party is organised by Peter Cousins, VK3BFG, and it involves lots of people who are involved with DATV, all getting together with basically a get together and show off your shack arrangement. On the Friday night, it's the Australians, so we go around Australia on the QSO party. Most of it's done via Zoom, and then on the Saturday morning, we actually involve the Americans and the English. They come in because it's their Friday night, so it's our Saturday morning. And we involve them, and we basically do the same thing, but it's a global thing. So it's so if you're interested in being involved, certainly you're welcome to come up on the Friday night or the Saturday. Saturday morning is what I think we're going to probably limit it to, and we'll just have a few show and tells, and we'll have it on the big screen, and we'll go from there. So anyway, that's happening on the 28th, Friday night the 28th, and the Saturday on the 29th. For our RF viewers, we've got a few videos. The first video is recently released by Hayden VK7H via Ham Radio DX, which is his thoughts and review on the ICOM IC7300, and he has the bold claim of the best HF and 6 metre ham radio. So we'll be showing that. There's also a couple of aircraft videos. One which is a quick review of the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, who we all love. We've read a lot about and seen a lot about. And then the third one is Nicholas Means, who actually is a fascinating guy. He's actually a developer, a software developer, but he has a bit of an interest in aircraft, and specifically aircraft crashes. He does a presentation on how to crash an aircraft, so which is quite an interesting presentation. So he's done. We have had him on the DATV night before, because he did a wonderful talk on the Skunk Works, which is the Lockheed development area that produced the SR-71 and the B-51 and the stealth fighter and etc. etc. So he did a bit of a presentation on the Skunk Works, which is absolutely fantastic. So anyway, we'll just open it up for any feedback, any comments, any questions via R2. We'll go with R2. And this is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association, with our DATV Experimenters Night. Just putting the call out. Any comments or questions for our DATV night? This is VK7OTC listening.
VK7RM?
Yeah, VK7RM, VK7OTC. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. I just turned the TV down. Interesting night. I missed the first bit because I had to go and up in the roof and resurrect my ATV antenna, which the air conditioning installer must have knocked over when he was up there.
Right.
But good stuff, and my comments about the RD was a good session, and perhaps next year we need to think about some secondary frequencies to get rid of the
overcrowding?
pile up, as it were, on 2 metres and 70 centimetres, so that's something maybe to think about. Thanks again, Justin.
Well and truly, Ron, and I concur with your comments. And I think we had a bit of a discussion earlier about the suggestion of extra frequencies for especially VHF and 23 centimetres. So yeah, to get around those pile-ups. So been well and truly taken on board, Ron, and A-OK on the ATV antenna up in the roof. Is it still the small quad break?
Roger. Still the quad sitting on a piece of board up in the roof space, Justin, so it works well.
I love it. And where are you located, Ron?
Sandy Bay, but it's actually transfer 426 from the old days, so it's a little bit off, but it works well.
Oh, well, there you go. With a simple little 426 quad antenna up in the roof space, and you can be receiving DATV video. So fantastic. Thanks for the report, Ron. Cheers. Any further comments or questions? Go ahead. Okay, nothing heard. We'll try on DMR. Just stand by. And this is VK7 OTC, just putting out the call for any comments or questions for the DATV experiment tonight. Final call for any questions or comments for the DATV night. This is VK7OTC. I am on the right channel, aren't I? No? Okay. Alright, nothing heard. And there's no...
VK7 Bravo Kilo. Watching and listening.
VK7 Bravo Kilo, good evening, Kevin. I trust you're doing well, and thanks for letting us know you're out there watching and listening. Cheers.
Yeah.
Any further comments for the ATV night? This is VK7OTC listening. No, nothing heard? Okay. We'll wrap it up at that and head to our videos and head out for a coffee. So thanks to all those who are watching. This is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our ATV nights, and we'll get underway next week with our next one. So bid you 73, stay safe, and we'll catch you next time round.